Hey guys, today I want to talk about mental health and my testimony, my experience through the mental health system this whole time. I mean, it's something quite personal, but it's I feel like I need to share it. So I have bipolar, and this whole thing is it bipolar or is it spiritual awareness? Right? And that's been this dance I've been playing my whole life. So let me try to explain the core of it. I mean, everyone has their childhood traumas. I mean, my parents were divorced when I was in fourth grade, right? And whatever, if that was a symptom or just whatever it is, it's been the story of abandonment, I guess, or divorce, right? Split. And I started to see therapists back then. I didn't know why. It's like, okay, why are we? I didn't change my behavior, but now there's this extra attention on me or whatever. So that was that was introduced to me, and I was fine through high school. I was a good student. When I got to college, I was fine, but I didn't have self esteem as a teenager. After the divorce, like I stopped playing sports, whatever it is. It was just deflationary, and part of it's just my walk. Um, anyway, at this point, I went to college. I felt self-esteem. I was really feeling good about myself. I was doing something I was interested in, or at least I was passionate about, and it was. I mean, I can explain this a lot in detail in further depth, but I was building up, gaining self-esteem, feeling like, oh, I'm studying, taking it kind of on a metaphysical level, like the basic stuff in college. But it was like I was accelerating, and one day it was a little bit of snow. It was late winter by the coast, and it was a little bit of snow dusting the trees, and it doesn't snow a lot by the ocean. And there was just this haze that was emitting from the ground. It felt so surreal. It's like, what's happening to me? I feel different. I felt powerful. And I won't go through the details, but someone was concerned about me, and the ambulance comes and they take me to the hospital. And I have no idea what's going on. It's like, okay, 1 minute, everything's great. And then they're like arresting me and putting me away. And you start panicking and freaking out. And the inner part of me was just saying, oh, this is just another test. Just stay calm and get through it. I wasn't calm. I mean, I was probably acting out. It was the first time anything like this had happened to me. They bring you to the hospital. You're in the waiting room, and I'm trying to literally read signs, numbers, count. Like, it's a little obsessive, right? There's lots of phases through this, but I remember I could understand other patients. There was like spirits inside of them, I guess, that I was privy to hear for a little while. Whatever it was, I could understand this guy speaking in Spanish, and it wasn't about earthly things. It was supernatural, so to say. And so they put you in the hospital. I remember, what am I here? Like, all right, they finally put you in the room. You have no idea. You're freaking out. But it's just a test. And get into the room. I rip open, after they leave me alone, a thermostat. And there's a spiral, one of those thermometer coils that was in the thermometer, right? So to me, there's symbology in the when I'm in a trance like that, in a manic episode, what they call it. So they put me in the isolation room, and like you see in the movies or whatever, they shoot you up with some kind of drug and a needle, and you fall, you just collapse. But I remember in that moment, it's a padded room. It's like none of this has happened to me before. It's like a movie, and there's just the highway in this window at nighttime with cars and headlights swirling by and people watching you through the door. And I just remember that was the vision, that yes, right now you're locked up, but your arresters are just people in uniforms. They are not, they're cloaked, so to say, and the truth will be revealed one day. And then, they shoot you up, and it's that trauma of this energy. They killed it out of me. They sucked it out of me. And then you wake up in the bed, what happened? And they tell you you're suicidal. And you're like, when did this happen? Like, who told me that? And it's like that lie, that assumption, which maybe it's applicable to, I would best maybe 40 or 50% of whoever they diagnose, but it's something they don't understand, so they have to give it a name. But then they give you drugs, take it out of you, so it becomes systematic. And I've had similar episodes about 4 or 5 times, different hospitalizations, and I'm smart enough to know I don't think that's a whole other story of dealing with the paradigm of that, right? So basically it's this system, right? You have a mental illness now, so you need to have a job to have health insurance. You need health insurance to get the doctor. The doctor is going to recommend a therapist as the treatment, and then you have 2 drugs you need to take, and then the psychiatrist needs to know that all going well, right? And of course, inside of me, I don't want to take the medication. I want the spiritual experience, and the medication is the thing that's preventing me from having another one, right? So I keep going off the medication, so I have to lie to the doctor, lie to the therapist, not take the medication, work to do all that, and it's just this ends up not working after years of bullshitting. And so finally I realized I don't need to have the medication. I don't need to see the doctor after lying about it and having an episode going, like, these are all through the phases of trying one thing, let's try the other 4. It's just like this rotation. Anyway, so the medication does that to you, and deep inside I knew I couldn't be on it, but I had to, I guess, go through these experiences. So, and each one has trauma of death taking this out of you, and at a point they totally destabilize you, because I wasn't energetically stable enough to handle a lot of that energy, and I had to basically die many times through this mental trauma experience to be resilient enough to stand today. So that ultimate healing was through all that trauma. So in the end, mental illness, as labeled, is really a spiritual experience that builds your character and strength. And what do I believe today is something that I've proved through the experience. So I'm not saying it's not helpful, but mental health, it needs to be a priority, but the system that prescribes it is totally corrupt. So you have to find your own way through the wellness, and it's a spiritual journey. I mean, in those hospital wards, it's like, yes, everyone's going through something spiritual, whether it be possession, obsession, depression, and there's real laws, boundaries to the system we live in, and it's only by dissecting it, and that I feel is kind of like the journey. Anyway, the weakness will be a strength. So it's a lot. So it's not a mental illness; it's a spiritual experience, and it's not over yet. So um, I'd be happy to go more into any of the health topics. I mean, I find I have my own regimen that I had to develop myself, and part of it is group therapy, part of it is journaling and coping mechanisms, and you learn a lot of things along the way. Especially, so there's it introduces you to a whole side of the system that a lot of people don't need to see, because the system tells them they're good and they're really not. So there's a lot to this, and I look forward to discussing mental health and spirituality more, and I hope this resonates and helps some people.